Well, hello. Did you know that emotions are associated with joint pain? Well, actually, any kind of pain. There's a really strong link. There's been all kinds of studies done, numerous studies over the years associating pain and emotions. So interesting, isn't it? I'm Jane Hogan, the wellness engineer, and I have my own experience with joint pain and emotion. So I know about this link, and I also know that there are ways that you can use the emotions and releasing emotions to release pain as well. It's very, very powerful work. So I'm just going to talk a little bit about it today. Years and years ago, I had this book by Louise Hay, You Can Heal Your Life. And I always found it super interesting. She has a chart in the back where you can look up all of these different illnesses and conditions and the emotions that are associated with it. And then a few years ago, I got this book by Deanna Minich, Quantum Healing, an A to Z self-healing guide for over 100 common ailments. So again, she did the same thing, talked about the emotions that are associated with different conditions. So it's quite interesting. And I guess it brings up the question, right? Do the emotions cause the pain, or is it the pain causing the emotions? And I think both those things are happening. We do know that there is this connection that emotions can affect our physiology. So basically, what the process is that stressful events cause us to have stressful thoughts, and then we get this incoherence happening in our brain. So when we have stressful thoughts, if you think about it, our brains are electrical, and there's electrical signals going on in our brain. And when we have stressful thoughts, we actually get incoherent. So those signals it's not functioning efficiently. So that's what happens there. And then the brain begins misfiring. The autonomic nervous system, which runs all of our body functions, doesn't operate as efficiently. And we move into that fight, flight, fear mode. And sometimes that when we are actually restricted physically, so we might be feeling very angry or feeling very fear. So we got some kind of fear going on. You know, back in the day, if you were afraid of an animal that was going to attack you, you would, beat the animal, but you're not going to do that to another person. So that restriction creates further stress in our body. So you have to, for example, sit at your desk, and then you can't act on your frustration. So your heart starts to race more, and you get constrictions happening. So we do have this reaction then. Now, also when we get stressed, the hormones of stress get released. So the adrenaline and the cortisol, and these can then result in the negative emotions that we feel. Okay, so we've got the thoughts, and then we got the emotions. And emotions are felt like actually within our body. Like if I asked you, if you sat down and think about it, like where do you feel anger? Where do you feel guilt? Where do you feel shame? Where do you feel fear? Any of these negative emotions, I bet if you concentrate a little bit, you can pinpoint where you feel them in your body. And so when we have these emotions, so things like fear, aggression, guilt, shame, suffering, feeling unworthy, we get these feelings, and these feelings are actually create an environment within our body. Feelings create like electromagnetic responses that can actually be measured. It's kind of cool. And so that changes the physical environment that our cells are in, that our genes are in, and it changes the expression of the gene. Okay, so what does that mean? Genes produce proteins. That's their function. So when the environment changes, this has been proven as well, that genes respond to the environment. So when the environment, like an electromagnetic environment and a low vibration kind of energies, those fear emotions create low vibrations. They change the expression of the genes. And then the genes produce proteins. That's what genes do. They produce proteins. And then they can actually get measured. Like if you have inflammation and pain, you get a blood test done. One of the tests that they do in looking at inflammation is the C-reactive protein. It's protein. It's made by the genes. So our thoughts create feelings. The feelings signal the genes. They change the gene environment, and it changes the gene expression to create these proteins of illness. So this link, isn't it interesting? So all of this, it's kind of funny to think back and say, all right, so the genes are responding to the environment changes with the emotions come from our thoughts. So if we can change our thoughts, then we can change that physiology all the way down to our gene expression and change the gene expression, which is kind of cool. Getting back to joint pain and other types of pain, but joint pain in particular, when I look up joint pain in these books, the emotions that are associated with joint pain are resentment, criticism, feelings of unworthiness, blame, feeling victimized. Does any of that resonate with you? If you have joint pain, do any of those emotions resonate with you? Now keep in mind, some of these emotions may be deeply rooted in your subconscious mind. A lot of these thoughts that we have that create these negative emotions come from thoughts that we think over and over again, which are just like habitual thoughts that are in our subconscious mind. And it can come from programming from when we were a child, like we didn't even put these thoughts into our head. So they can come from way, way, way back. And so we're kind of not even aware sometimes that we're thinking these thoughts. So when we want to try to change the pain, so lower our pain, we need to become, first of all, aware that we're thinking some of these negative thoughts that are creating the negative emotions within our body. So first step, awareness. Start to notice. How do you begin to notice your thoughts? Well, try to notice them. Try to be an observer, noticing what you're thinking. Are you thinking negative things about yourself? Maybe you might want to do some journaling. You might want to just journal, like stream of thought. What are you thinking about? What am I feeling right now? What am I feeling right now? Just journal on that. What am I feeling right now? Especially if you are triggered by something. What am I feeling right now? Where am I feeling it? You might want to work with a professional who can help you become aware of some of these emotions. Now, you want to consciously create new thoughts, because when you create the new thoughts, you change the emotions, you change the gene expression. So you might want to release some old thought patterns by using cognitive behavior therapy. So just consciously changing your thoughts to what you want them to be. Releasing old thoughts through affirmations. So affirmations, repeating over and over again, is a way to reprogram that subconscious mind so that you reprogram those thoughts that are kind of running the show in there. And then also visualizations are really powerful as well. So you visualize positive things, positive events, and then that creates positive feelings, creates a positive environment for the gene expression. Those proteins of illness and pain get turned down. Other things you can do, like there's all kinds of energy work, because as I said, these emotions are actually, they're electromagnetic. They are energy. They're vibrations. So that's why a lot of these energy modalities tend to work. So things like prayer is a form of energy, right? Reiki, even acupuncture. Have you heard of EFT tapping? So emotional freedom technique. It's kind of a tapping and you feel emotions. You tap all around at these meridian energy points. Breath work. So that's something I teach a lot with the work that I do. I'm teaching a lot with breath work, how to use your breath to release some of these negative emotions. Meditation, yoga, anything that's going to help you get these emotions moving. Try to get yourself into more of a positive state, or at least a peaceful state. And so that you're not in that negative state, creating the negative thoughts, the negative emotions, negative gene expression. All right. How about I'd really like to know if you noticed that you had a connection ever between a stressful situation or stressful thoughts and pain in your body. Really like to know. I know for me, this was something that happened. I realized, I had a kind of a sudden stressful event with the sudden death of my mother and numerous other things. So this stress created this illness in my body. But I realized as well that I had been carrying a lot of negative stress, a lot of negative thoughts throughout my entire life. So working all those has been one of my tools to help release the negative emotions, release the pain, and it works. This stuff really does work. I'd be curious to know if it's same type of thing has happened to you. Was there a stressful event that then led to illness or pain? And also, if you are curious, if you would like me to look up something that you're experiencing, I can look them up in my books. If you want to, you can do it in the comments, or you could just send me a direct message and I'll look it up for you, and the emotions that are associated with whatever you're experiencing. All right, I hope you have a great weekend or your week whenever you're watching this. And thank you so much for tuning in. I'm Jane Hogan, the Wellness Engineer. Bye.